Big report from the Fed just came out, and it was earlier today that the Fed is not going to cut interest rates. Today, I think that the rate cut decision will come next month, just like I said in my video from yesterday. It looks like June 17th. What I would do in a dream world where everything is in order is to watch how the market really responds to the rate cut. I believe we can reach a much higher level. Another thing that would happen in a perfect world is that the US would make more trade deals with other countries. That's not all. Stocks are also going through new all-time highs. The M2 supply is also growing, which means that there will be a lot more liquidity. This will help crypto prices rise everywhere. But now we're also going to look at altcoins because we think Bitcoin will be the most popular coin around the end of June or the beginning of July. That's it for the old season and the bull run that could lead to a top near the end of the year. In an ideal world, that is, we're not sure what will happen. Every day is a new one for us. We really pay attention to what the Fed does in June, though, because that's a big one. Good news is that the market as a whole is swimming in green right now. It's clear that the value of many old coins has gone up a lot today, and even in the last hour. Just to give you an example, let me quickly update. Things have changed a lot in the last hour. There's a lot of green around. Since Bitcoin just recently shot up to 97.8K, this is the case. It did reach about 98K, which made everyone a little excited. I'm going to record this again a little earlier. The price may have gone up by the time this goes live, which should be in about an hour or two. But let's see what's happening in this space right now. For starters, whales are buying. We know that whales are seeking to buy. A lot of whales have been buying XRP, Bitcoin, and some other cryptocurrencies as well. I've seen altcoin activity, or instead I should say whale behavior, on a lot of altcoin wallets. It's clear that people are buying in order to build up their positions during this whole time when prices are just going sideways. For instance, over the past year, this is all very similar to the price behavior of, around March time. And I told you guys how I was thinking about this because if we looked back to March, for example, look at how the price moved when we just kept selling off. Then look at how the price moved over here in the next chart. It's not different at all. And I do think that a lot of people are going to wake up here, but the real question is whether it will happen this month. The market for old coins is starting to wake up a bit right now. If we look at the big picture, this is great news. The old coin season measure is beginning to move toward the old coin season side, but the problem is that a lot of old coins are still worth the same amount they did a few days ago. Like this is what XRP's chart looks like, not really anything important. And this is why we see price movement like this on a lot of old coin charts or HBAR, XLM. A lot of old coins are stuck in this kind of sideways price action, which is also theoretically almost like a downtrend. We're just cutting things up like this. These things are taking place because of the altcoin market. That is, if we come back over here, the total value of all cryptocurrencies is about $3 trillion, $20 billion, 0 cents right now. A nice amount of flow is being seen. It's great to see that the market is moving right now. However, a lot of the old coins we're looking at are still very cheap, as is most of the market for old coins. Also, let's quickly go back to the daily chart and look at how the market has been doing. Even if we look at the CF Green, the top 100 is only up about 0.55% in the last day. Because of this, I say that the top 100 is only up 0.55%, even though we're seeing some nice moves like 10.5%. 14.6% or 8.3%, only 1.3% of the top 200 are up. In case you were wondering, we're not really seeing much change. It's not really true for altcoins or even Bitcoin, since Bitcoin is still stuck at important lows until we get back to the higher highs on this chart. When it comes to XRP, I will say that it is the same as any other coin on the market. If you're upset that XRP isn't moving when it's actually going down, guess what? 9 times out of 10. Every other old coin on this market is the same too, since we're currently looking at the old coin market. That's all 3 of them. Outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is the old coin market. Also, guess what? Can you see any signs of price going up on this chart right now? Not at all. In fact, we're still below this $842 billion 0 cents number that we traded at all the way through March. By the way, this is a tough level. We've been turning this down, and now we're just kind of cutting. This is exactly what XRP is doing, which is why it looks like that. One of the goals for XRP has been to break through the March highs. It has been trying to break out of a higher high on this chart, but every time it has tried, it has failed. So we keep an eye on the market for old coins to make sure that a much bigger growth across the board is real. That also goes for XRP, HFAR, and all other coins. We need to do a lot more work here. We need to get past this $842 billion 0 cents mark. We need to aim for this next important area up here. This is all pushback up here, but it's been between $892 billion 0 cents and $952 billion 0 cents. After that, a lot of these plots will start to show very big changes. Bitcoin is the big deal here though, because these numbers are still pretty dull, but Bitcoin is starting to wake up every day over here. We're getting rid of some nice highs now. The fact that we are building higher high structures every day is also very good to see. Let's just tap that first level, which was about 98.5K. We need to make this clear. A daily light needs to close above this level. Since the beginning of February, this level has not been broken since the morning of February 1. We are making progress, which is great, but we still need to see a lot more before we can say for sure that Bitcoin is in a very bullish shape. The first thing to do here is getting a daily candle close to 98.4K or 98.5K, and then we look at the weekly. There are about 3 days and 21 hours left until the weekly candle close. I know some of these pictures will look a little off because they were made in a shorter amount of time, but the weekly is actually close. Our goal is to close above 9850K, which would be a very big close and a huge indication of a much bigger rise in Bitcoin, which could possibly take us to 102.7K. At this point, we'll have to decide if we're going to reject this level again like we did in January, or if we're going to break through it and aim for much higher highs. That's where we really think about December. And that's where we hope to clear the wick at around 19K, which would bring us to 110K plus. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. What's moving the market in the first place? Is the Fed making the call? Without a doubt not. In fact, the Fed's move is meant to make prices go down. Rates need to be lowered right now. Now that we've thought about it, is the market moving because of the Fed? Is it just because whales bought? Like, what is the real truth here? The market is moving because of what Trump just said. That's it. That's it. President Trump says there will be a big news conference at 10 a.m. today, which is tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, to make public a big trade deal with a well-known and respected country. A lot of people will now say, okay, it's going to be China, or okay, it's going to be this or that. I think this is going to be Canada after all. I'll explain why in a moment, but for now, here is a message from Donald J. Trump on Truth Social. Big news conference tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. The Oval Office to talk about a big trade deal with people from a big well-known country. This will be the first of many. Now, I do think that there will be a lot more trade deals this year, which are definitely a trigger. Canada, or should I say China, would be the main force behind